Hey there everyone. In today's video, we will be looking at three topics: data model, project, and model. So let's start with data model. Data model is something like root of this mechanical window that you are currently working in. So let's see how to access data model. So your entry point as usual is ext API. ext API dot data model will give access to data model. So when you type this data model, you will see it is written as get, means you are getting something, you cannot set anything. So what does it return? It returns a type called mechanical data model, and it has written that gets the data model object. So once you do that, you will see that it has returned mechanical data model. But to access this, let's assign this data model to some variable. I will call it as DM for the time being. So it is called DM. So if you want to see the type of DM, you can test type DM dot get type. It's a function, and so it is written as get type uh, and parenthesis. So it takes no argument and it returns a type. So when you press enter, you will see it has given a system type which says which says that it is under the category of Ansys ACT mechanical, and it is mechanical data model. There is one more thing called DM dot data model object category, or just data model object. So since this is the root, it does not have any category, and it is right now hidden, so you cannot access, but you have to type it correctly. Data model, MS capital, data model object. You will see it has written the same. So this is where the mechanical data model is lying. It's a type of object which is under this entire type of class. So let's see what else you can access from here. So if I type dm dot analysis list, so analysis list, let me just explain a bit. It is a type of property that says it is get, means you will only get the property, you cannot set anything. And what does it return? It returns I list. It will return a list. So it has returned gets the list of available inputs. So once you do that, and it is not a function, it's just a property, there is no bracket for this. So if you type DMS, you will see it has returned a list. For example, if I add one more model analysis here, and if I rerun this, just press Control up to rerun the last command, or if you keep going Control F, you can see all previous commands. Okay. So DM to analysis list. Now you will see there are two analysis lists. These are actually a type of physics. So it is saying it is under the category of mechanical analysis, mechanical analysis. There is one more thing called DM dot analysis names, and it also says it's a get, means you will only receive a property. It's a type I list. It will return a list, and it will return the list of analysis name. So this is not physics type. This is analysis type names. So it has given static, structural, and model. So you will see this. If I rename it as static, structural, my, and if I rename model to model my, and if I rerun that, you will see it has become static, structural, my, and model my. If you want to go back, like you want to access an analysis system which has a name static, structural, my, or model my, so you can type dm dot get not get analysis by name, and you can enter that name. So yeah, it's a case sensitive, you have to type exactly what you had written, dm. So if you type this, you will get the analysis system, and if you want to check the name whether you have accessed the same object or not, just type dot name. You will see that it has written the same. You can again assign this to some variable, and you can access this model analysis system. So let's move. There is one more thing called get by ID. So suppose I want to access this and see what is the ID of this static, structural system. So let me quickly access that. I will name it as AN is equal to ext API dot data model dot project dot model dot analysis, and this is the first one. So it is a first element in that string. So AN dot object ID. So it is telling it has an object ID of 32. This object ID means it's a unique number that is assigned to this object, and you won't find any duplicate. You can see I have a dummy model here. Every face, edge, vertex, or the geometry data model object, or this part object, or even material data model object, or even this individual material object, everything has a unique object ID. You can even access using this object ID. For example, here I was accessing using a name. If you want to access using a ID, so it is analysis by ID, and you will see it takes input as integer int ID. So right now I will press enter, and if I want to check what is the name of it, you will see it will return static structural my. So these are two ways to access any analysis system, maybe by its name or by its unique object ID. Next is geodata. So gm.geodata, it returns a geometry wrapper. So there are certain wrappers like geometry wrapper, geometry assembly wrapper, face wrapper, edge wrapper, but vertex wrapper. Next is, if you talk about mesh, it will be like element wrapper, node wrapper. So this contains properties of this individual elements. For example, if I select an uh, face, it is actually a type. I'm selecting a face, it's a type selection info, but its property is in face wrapper. So I have to, if I want to fetch the properties of this face, maybe it's coordinate system at this of the COG, or its surface area, or let's say how many nodes or vertex it has, I have to go through face wrapper. So this is a very long topic. I will cover it in a separate video, and the selection manager I will cover it. I will also cover that in a separate video because these are very important. After geodata, let's see dm.tree. You will see it is hidden. So, but if you type tree, you will see everything that comes under this entire tree is written here. So it has a project, which is nothing but this project. Next is model. You will see it model. Next is geometry. But after geometry, you won't see material. You are seeing four bodies, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is giving every branches that is under this data model. Right now, dm.tree is working for data model, but it won't work for any project or model because they have childrens. So if you type project.children, then you will get all the childrens. But tree is applicable only for data model. You won't get dm.children. So if you type dm.childrens, you will see that it has no attribute children's. But if you go, which I will show in project, you will get the children's of project. After four bodies, you will see material. There is one material in that. You will see this is S, materials object. This is individual material, and then coordinate systems, one coordinate, again connections, no connection under it, mesh analysis, and so on. So this is everything that is inside this mechanical window, every individual objects. After this, let's talk about if you want to see where you are currently working or where this mechanical window is located, you can type dm.working directory, working dir. You will see this is where my mechanical this analysis system or the mech.dat file is located. Now let's move on to project. So to get project, you have your entry point is extapi dot data model, and your project is under uh, the children of data model. So you have to type data model dot project. You will see it returns system type of project. So let's assign it to some variable. I will call it as proj or project, whatever you want to call. So project is assigned here. If I type project.get type, you will see it is returning a type of project, which you saw it here. If you want to see the data model object category, you will see it has returned project. So this is a type of data model, a category of data model, and data model which we already saw. It's a part of, it's a children of data model, which you saw it in the tree. So let's go one by one about its properties and its methods. So first we will talk about project.activate. You will see activate is, it's written void, means it does not return anything, and it's a function. So it's a method, activate, and it does not take any argument. So if you do this, you will see this project is getting activated. Suppose right now I have clicked model analysis and I'm working in it. If you rerun this, you will see it is still grayed out, means it's still activated. And if you enter this, you will see model is activated. But why do you need that? So though you can access everything, for example, if you want to add an image, you're currently working on some result object, and if you do project.add image, though the image will be added under project, but that image will be of this result which was previously selected. So this is a use case of it. So when you want to add some image, for example, okay, so right now I am in this solution. When I click project, I don't see anything, but just to show you that right now I am in model, and if I type project dot add image, okay, add image, it returns a image. It takes a function like file path. If you don't give, it will be in default path. It's a child path. Okay, so let's run it. You will see the image is included here, but this image is of model, but actually project didn't had any model. Let's say I will activate the project and rerun add image. You will see this image too has nothing, but image is having. So at the when this model was activated, this image is stored in this project. Suppose you had chosen a result object, maybe a one misses stress or deformation, and if that's activated and if you click project.add image, then that result will come here. So make sure you activate only that object for which you want to add the image. Similarly, if you want to add comment, you can do project.add add comment. You will see this comment is added. But if you want what it's visible properties, so whatever you see here, what you can see are called as visible properties. So you will see a name here, and you can see you can put down some comments here, whatever you want. But to access that, or if you want to enter those author name and the comment, you have to store this into some variable. I will call it as com. Let me delete it and read that. So com is equal to project.add comment. Now I can access this comment. Okay, so com dot first is author. You will see author is get set, means you can get the property, you can even set the property. And what is the property value type? It is string. It's written gets or sets the author. Let's see what it is currently. If you type com dot author, you will see it has returned a empty string. If I do com dot author is equal to as vector, you will see it is actually vector is assigned here, but you still can't see it. So what you can do is you can just refresh it, so, or you can activate it. So I will just say project dot activate. This is also one more use case. If I do that, and sorry, you can also do com dot activate. Com dot activate, you will see that vector is reassigned. For example, if I rerun that vector 11, you will see it is not showing, but if you reactivate it, it will show. Similarly, for this comment, it is actually under the property name text, com dot text. If you see, it will be written put comment here. For example, I want to say some other comment. You can see this is a get or set, and it's a string. So text is equal to this is my comment. If I do that, you will see this it has changed. For example, if you want to have multi-line string, you can't use triple quotes here because this was written in Iron Python and it's not taking. So what you can do is you can retype that and put a escape sequence like /1 here and /n here. If you retype and do com dot activate, you should see that for some reason it's not taking. This /n is not taking. I think it's skipping that some part of it. Let me rerun it with no space. No, it's not working. But if you do that here and if you rerun that text, you will see that it has added a escape sequence. So for some reason, it is not taking that escape sequence. Okay, let's move on to next one. We were talking about project. So next on the line is project.add image, which you have already seen. Let me activate that project. So what are the visible properties that you can see here? You can access author, subject, prepared for. So if you want to add an author here, author, you can see it's a get or set property. Let's see, right now it is giving a blank, and if I type author as vector author, you will, it's not coming up. Let's reactivate it and you will see vector author is coming. Similarly, you can go for project.subject, which is also a get or set property, and its type is string. And similarly, project.prepared for, it also gets or set a property of type string. So let's see whether we can access this read-only properties or not. So for read-only, it should be get, not set. So project dot first saved. So as you see, it is only get, means read only, and it's of a type string. And let's see what it returns. It returns a string which is exactly written what you see here. Similarly for project.version, and you can access save project before solution. For that you have to type project.save project before solution. So here you will see it is written as get or set, and it's a bool, means you have to enter, you can't enter yes or no, but you have to enter true or false. And let's see. So project.save project after solution, you will see it is as false. If you want to make it as true, you can just type true. You will see it has become true. Let's reactivate and check that. Yes, here we go. So it's set as yes. Next is project.comments. You can add comments. I think we have seen this comment. Next is copy to. Copy to is useful when you want to copy any visible properties. Means right now, if I just type project.properties, you will see there are several properties like author, subject, prepared for, first save. This is something which you can't see here, right? So this is not a visible property. To access what are the visible properties, you can type project.visible properties and you will see everything is there except this imported version or the imported file. So these are internal properties. We will and copy to can copy only the visible properties. And if you want to know when it is useful, for example, let me reactivate that comment. So you will see comment has a name which is vector11, and this is not a visible property. Suppose I create one more comment which is called as com1 is equal to project dot add comment, and now you see comment 2 is activated but it does not have name. So if you want to copy that from com, so you can just type com dot copy 2. The target property is com1, and if you see that com1 dot activate, you should get that same name here. So this is how you can copy all the visible properties from one object to another. There are certain times, for example, if you want to, mm, let's say I have force here, so I can write and I have entered 100 Newton here. So if I right click and duplicate, you will see this force is duplicated in same analysis system. But for example, I have one more static structural system here and I want to copy the values from this and one analysis system to another analysis system. I can use this copy to method. Um, Next is create parameter. Uh, Project does not have any property that can be parameterized, but let's create a sample force and see whether we can parameterize or not. So let me just create a force. So you can just type AXT API dot data model dot project model dot analysis, and there are several analysis and it's a list. Let's access the first one. So it is 0 dot add force. It's a function, it returns a force object. So now force is created. Now let's say I have 100 Newton here. 100 Newton, you can see a white box here, which means you can parameterize this magnitude. Let me show you Workbench once. You will see there is no parametric model here. And if I type force dot create parameter, and it will say that it will return a parameter, and its name should be in as a string. It has written string. Its argument is a string whose type is property name. So let me just type magnitude here. It's case sensitive. If I do that, and if I reactivate it, no need to reactivate. You will see P has already come here. If I open this, you will see this parameter is already set. If I double click, you will see P1 force magnitude 100. So this way you can create a parameter. If you want to get the list of those parameters, you can just type parameter. Yeah, get parameter. You can just type that name, or you can create one more new. But if you try to create a duplicate, it will give an error. It will say that magnitude as a parameter already exists. And next is remove parameter. You can remove that parameter. For example, same magnitude, remove parameter. You will see parameter is removed, and there is no parameter model here. Next is, let's click to project once again. Next is children's. We have seen the data model had a tree. Let's see how children works here. Project.children's. You will see it has returned a children named as two comments. So comment, and a model. So this is model. And if you go to model and then click children's of it, it will show you geometry, material, coordinate system, connections, mesh, static, and this model. So there is one more thing called project.getChildren. Difference between children and get children is, in children it will give you all the childrens under the category of or the project object. But if you want to get a particular childrens, for example, you want to access only those childrens which are of type comment, you can use get children. So let me just show you what are the arguments and what it returns. It returns iList, and the list contains data model objects. And what is its arguments? It should be a enum of type data model object category, and there should be a bool for that. So you can just copy this data model object category, type this and dot, and it will show you all the various categories of data model object. So here it is comment, and then it will ask whether you want to recursively check all these comments within this. Okay, so right now I will put true. You will see it has written only comments. If I make it false, I think I won't get if there is something else. So let me just insert a comment here. Okay, I will insert in model extapi dot data model dot project. I can even access from project itself. Project dot model dot add comment. Let's see if it returns any comment. So I have a comment inside model, and if I rerun this false, you will see it has returned two comments, two comment type, and if I press true, you will see it has returned 3. So recursive means it will go through all individual objects of this project. So for example, so what happened when it was true? So first it will check all the children. So first children was comment, it will give you. Second is also comment, it will give you. Third is not a comment, it won't give you, but it will again enter model and then start searching for comment. So you will see 3 comments here. But when it is false, when the recursion is false, so first two it will return comment and comment, but when it is false, it will not go inside this model again. So this is the difference between true and false. Next is duplicate. You can duplicate the project, but here it will not work. It's because if I duplicate, there is no method here. You don't have to force it and duplicate. Next is again parameters. You can even access the parameter, get parameter, create parameter. But for project, there is no property that can be parameterized. So there is no use of it. Next is get path. So get path does not give you the entire path of where you're presently working, but it gives the path of your object. So project, this root which I was talking, data model, it is under data model, so first slash and then project. So if you are under model, it will give you a slash project slash model. So we will see when we will talk about model. Next is object ID. So as I said, every object in this mechanical or Ansys has its unique object ID for this particular instance. So you have opened Ansys Mechanical right now, some analysis system, a workbench file which is named GOM. This thing has a unique object ID. Let's see. So if you want to access any object ID, it will be project.object ID, and it has written 4. So 4 will not be assigned to any of this window, even for reason this faces. If you just select all this face, if you select this phrase and see the selection info, you will get the IDs here, but you will never see 4 here. This object IDs will never be duplicated, so it is a unique to that particular object or its category. Whatever you pick up, it will have a unique object ID. Next, to access the model, you can type project.model. It will return the model. We will see in a bit. Next is images. Since you can add images, you can also get the list of images. For example, let me add an image first. So project dot add image, and if you want to access the list of images, you can just type project dot images. It will return a list of types. So right now you have only one image object. So if you rename it and say image 22, and if you want to access that, you will have this is the list. You have to access the first index, first element. So it's 0 dot name. You will see it is written image 22. Similarly, you can go for project dot parent. Since data model didn't have any parent, it was the root. So if you type parent here, you should get, okay, it's not having any parent. But if I talk about model dot parent, it should return project. Yeah, it's returning project. So it's starting with a project. That's why project is not returning any parent, right? Next important thing for project is, suppose if you go to analysis system, you will see this temperatures are here. Temperature is written here. If you want to and if you go to unit system, um, you will see this temperature, right? Celsius and Kelvin. So you can even access from this project. So it will be project dot, just type unit, uh, type temperature. So you will see that it's a function. It returns void, means it does not return anything, and it does not take any argument. So it will change the temperature to Celsius. Right now it is in Celsius. If I make it to Kelvin, you will see this has become Kelvin. So if you make it to Celsius, it will become Celsius. Okay. So one more is unit system. So if you want to access the present unit system of this project, you can just type unit system. It says it is a get or set property, and it returns a type called enum type. So E is written here, and enum name is user unit system type, and it will have certain members of this enum. So let's see what it returns. Presently, if I type unit of project.unit system, it's returning standard MKS system. If I go there, you will see MKS system. Let me choose this Newton millimeter. If I click that and rerun that, you will be seeing standard NMM. Uh, and you will see this is activated. If you want to go back to this MKS system, then you have to just type project.unit system is equal to this user unit system has come automatically. If it doesn't come, you can just um, copy this. For example, you can just copy this is equal to, you can type this dot. Okay, so user unit system is enum. It's a enum type, and these are its members. So you can access any member. Right now I want to convert, let's say, to CGS system. I will just type and press enter. You will see that uh, CGS is chosen, but yeah, it is chosen here. Yeah, CGS is chosen. So if you want to access this inch pound, and if you want to see what is its name, you can see it is standard BIN. So these are some unique members of this enum type whose name is user unit system type. Next is visible properties. So as I said, project will have several properties, but visible properties will be what you see. Let's move on to model now. So to access model, let me just assign it to a variable. Model is equal to ext API dot data model dot project dot model. So this is your model object. So if you want to just type model, it will return a Python type, but you can also do model dot get type, and it will return a mechanical model. If you want to see what category it is, you can type data model object category, and it has written model. In newer version of Ansys, you can even access model is equal to just, I mean, you don't have to go this entire path, ext API data model project. You can just type model. M should be in capital. But I would not recommend this because this is a good way to go. It is more readable, and one more thing is this is not backward compatible. So if someone is using an code snippet from 2020 and wants to use in 2017 or 2019, it won't work. So the good way is to rerun this ext API data model project and model. So let's see what are its properties and various methods, and some are common for all data model and data model object categories. So first one is model dot activate. You can see it will just get activated. Next is model dot add chart. You can even add chart. Chart actually comes under this model tree, right? So if you do that, you will see a chart is added. You can assign this to a variable, then access the individual properties of that chart. Let's go back to model. So next is model dot add comment. Same way as we did, it will return something, and you can access the text and author of that comment. Next is model dot add figure. Figure, and there is a difference between a figure and image. So if you do add figure, let me just show you both. So model dot add figure and model dot add image. So when you do add image, it actually stores an image file. So it's actually JPEG or PNG file as per your setting. So you will see I cannot reorient it. But if you go to figure, I can reorient it, and then when I do a print of this report, the same thing will come in. But if for image, whatever it was oriented before, it will come as it is. So it is stored as PNG file. You cannot reorient or do anything. Let's go back to model, and then you can even access this ambient, diffuse, and specular. I have never used this before. So it is ambient, and you will see it is a get or set property, and it's a type of double, so you can use decimals, and it returns uh, the value of this. So right now it should return 0.1. It's a double or something like a float. Similarly, you can access color. So color here is hexacode. So you can just go to Google. I will show you that. So if you share this color, you will see this 8-digit code. If you want to access this code, you can just go to Google and use hexa color picker, and you can copy this value and enter. You will get the same thing. Next is connection. So let's see one by one. So if you want to access geometry, it will be model.geometry. If you want to access materials, model.material, model.coordinate system, model.connection, model.mesh, and model.analysis. Since it's a list, you have to specify which index you want to access. So we will be covering one by one in other videos, so I won't get inside geometry now. Next is we have create parameter. So a model does not has any property that can be parameterized, so there is no point of showing that. And similarly, you can check diffuse figures, geometry, get parameter, get path. So if I type model dot get path, and it will return project slash model. So everything starts with data model and then project and this model. You can even go back. If I type model dot parent, you will see it will go back to project. And similarly, you can see the children's. If I type model dot children, you will see a comment. Two comments are here. Geometry is here. Material is here. So it's not going recursively inside the geometry. So here under geometry, I have 4 parts. It's not showing part or bodies here. So it's not going recursively. But if I type model dot get children, and if I type this, use this data model category, and this is of type geometry. So data model object category dot geometry, and if I make it false, you will see it has returned only one geometry. No, this is actually a part or body. Yes, it's a part. So if I type false, you will see it has returned false, because what it is doing is it starts with model, goes through each individual children's. It won't go inside the children's. It is going outside and checking if there is any data model object category of type part. So it's not going. Now, if I run the same code and make it true, recursive to true, you will see it has returned 4 part. So what it did is it went inside each children's, and from that children again it will go inside it and it will check whether it has object category of part or not. Similarly for other categories. So geometry was this one. This category is geometry, but this is actually a part. It is, there is also a hierarchy of this geometry. You have geometry, then assembly, then bodies, then part. So we will talk when we will be covering the geometry data model object. You can even access the name of this model. For example, model dot name. You will see it as a get or set property. So let's see the name. It is right now model. So I want to change it to something else. For example, my model, and you should get. You will see that this has become changed. But if you talk about model object ID, this object ID is unique. So it is 11. Even if I make it to some random text, though the name is changing, but object ID will remain same. So it is very unique to this particular instance of Workbench or Mechanical that you are running. Similarly, if you, for example, here remote points are not there. So if you want to just access remote point, it will be remote model.remote point. So though it is returning a remote points, it is not visible because it does not have any children. If you want to make it visible, you can just add a remote point and it will automatically add the parent of that individual remote point. So I will just type add remote point and you will see that this has come. So this was actually hidden. It was not visible the time. But when you added a remote point, it came visible. So it is this remote points and this points are same, and this individual point is same as this point. And similarly, you can even access, if you do go to here and do right click, you can access solve clear generated data. For example, model dot solve, you can run this entire. So if you do this solve of model, it will run all the analysis system in queue. But if you go to one analysis system and solve it, it will run with that analysis system. So make sure what is activated and then you can click solve. Similarly, for clear generated data, you can clear all this. It's a function, it's a method. So you can clear anything. For example, if mesh is created and mesh is created, you can just click model.create generated data. You can even check the state of this mesh or any part. For example, if it is none or anything, you can check the part that we will cover in individual topic. So that's all for today, guys. Today we covered uh, data model, project, and model. If you have any questions, please comment down below. I will try to answer it. If not, I will try to ask uh, and get back to you. So hopefully this video has helped you. uh, Let me know in the comments below if you want any areas of improvement or any other videos that you want me to cover. I will be very happy to do that. So only one request I have is please subscribe and like. This is the only expectation that I have for you. So hopefully we will meet in next video. Thank you. Have a good day.